has me morphing into Steve. He's back there. Let's see. He's very good at public speaking. He's done a lot. But when it comes to things like this, he just gets very sentimental. So I became the representative. So I'll do my best with his remarks. Okay. Let's see. Steve was Carol's little brother, little by 3 years. He had a long career of public speaking, but he knows from past experience that he can't do that today, so he sent me to be his voice. Little brother. For a little while, he was little. He entered the 7th grade at 5'2", while Carol, then in the 9th grade, was 5'9". Little brother. Okay, she towered over almost every one of her friends. Steve says he has pictures of her leaning over the group so she could hear what everybody else was saying. I can envision that. This was about the time when Carol used to slug me in the arm with a fist with the middle finger stuck up. That hurt. One time I hit her back the same way. My mother shrieked, "Do not hit your sister, she's a girl." My puzzlement was visible with me, 5'2", and her towering over me, but she's a girl now? Okay, duh. I got even, literally. By 8th grade, I was 5'9" and almost looked her in the eye. By 9th grade, I was 6'2", and did I say that right? Excuse me, Libby makes all the mistakes. Steve is back there. Okay, she was then 5'10" and didn't slug me anymore. Let's see here. Now, let's see, moving on to the friends from high school that she still has many of today, or would have if she was here. It was a long time since the 15-girl slumber parties in the basement. And at one time, Steve says he got to go down there where no man had gone before. But it turned out okay, no big deal in the end. Carol took good care of her little brother. She tried to teach him to dance. He didn't learn to ballroom dance till he was in his early 30s when he met me, and I knew how to do that, and we enjoyed doing that together. But he got by with what Carol taught him. She asked him to rat her hair once. Apparently it worked out so well that they had to cut the comb out of her hair. Probably never did that again. Okay. She was always in trouble. Does this sound like the Carol you know? She challenged our dad, and it wasn't very fun for her. Some of you will remember our dad, the Colonel. Personally, I stayed in my room out of sight until I was 16 and didn't get in any trouble. And I think I've heard stories that that's really true. He came home, they went to their rooms. We both got mono when I was in the 8th grade, kissing disease. I did not kiss my sister. I'm just saying what it says here. Carol and I bonded over some problematic parents. In the end, they raised us well, but they got divorced when we were teenagers, and we had to deal with many of their back and forths, mostly on our mother's part for the rest of our lives. I will say my mother was wacko, and she caused Carol lots more problems than me. Carol had to be a mother, a wife, and deal with a wacko mom. The one thing that I was critical of Carol for is that she got married and left me alone with our mother for almost a whole year. I escaped to the fraternity house the next fall and lived to tell about it. Carol and Mama moved away in 1969, leaving me home alone in college. But I survived. I got drafted after college and then went to graduate school after that. But no matter where I was, wherever Carol was home for me. Now I'm going to get choked up. After coming back to Casper in 1976, I spent all my vacations and long weekends on the ranch with Carol and the family. It was a great opportunity for me, lots of good experiences. After Libby and I got married, we spent lots of our time out at the ranch, and Carol accepted Libby with open arms. norms, the way she accepted most everybody in her life. I often say that if Carol and my cat Sloan had not pre-approved Libby, Libby would not have made the cut. Carol made a good, involved life on the ranch, though 40 miles from town, and as they say, I'll get this mixed up here, if you went much further than the middle of nowhere, you started coming out and then you got to the ranch. You can ask Jason later about that. Okay. She made a good life on the ranch in a often difficult situation. She was active in community and statewide boards and made lots of good friends. She didn't learn cooking for her mother, but she was great at cooking for a crowd and performed the ranch wife duties in excellent fashion. I can say that's the truth. Jason and Jennifer learned to be good people from Carol, and they have succeeded in their lives, being good spouses and parents. Carol had good grandchildren, and she was proud of her kids and her grandkids, yet taking the time to provide motherly advice often. I didn't know I'd have to behold this thing. Okay. The next chapter of her life was with Jay for 30 years. And about then, breast cancer hit in 1996 and changed her life forever. She was never healthy after that. She had chemotherapy and other treatments that ruined her immune system. And as Jennifer referred to her toddler sons, Carol was a petri dish. She caught everything. But she persevered and was resilient, creative, working with Jay at their bird store, the Wild Bird Center in Wheat Ridge, always the personal and excellent salesperson who cared about her customers. This carried over to her time at Home Depot after they closed the bird store. She was the top salesperson for many months in a row. I was stunned to learn that she had to sell $300 worth of flooring and curtains and blinds every hour to establish the sales requirement. And she did it and did it well. Jennifer was always close in the Denver area, and their best friends relationship flourished. Jason was always further away, but kept in contact and helped out when he could. Carol had a great sense of humor. All of you have experienced this? Yes. And together, she and I, Steve, fed off each other, raising the level of their togetherness. It just brought you together. Having been on the ranch for 20 years with limited shopping opportunities in the VA or before Amazon times, she was often limited with her birthday present choices. My second most memorable present from her was when I was around 30. She gave me Gumby and Pokey. I kept them for years. My most memorable birthday present from Carol was Mr. Raisin, a 6-inch tall purplish styrofoam California raisin with this goofy grin. I was so impressed with Mr. Raisin that I left him on the ranch, hid him downstairs in a closet. Mr. Raisin came to Casper too soon, though. However, Jason shoved a stick up his rear end and planted him in the garden at our house. Not to be outdone, we mailed Mr. Raisin to a friend Mike who was on a missionary training stint in England. He wrote a letter for Mr. Raisin to Carol about being in seminary and not being able to wear the collar because he didn't have a neck. And Mike mailed him to Colorado to Carol. At this point, sometimes the recipients didn't acknowledge the receipt of Mr. Raisin. Dang, we got him again. Ultimately, he came back and forth and back and forth. And it was on one of our forays, we wrapped Mr. Raisin in foil and put him in our freezer. Took her a while to find that one. Sadly, he's gone from our days, and I don't think I know what happened to him. I think, I don't know. He's gone to that great what in the sky. Salad, there we go. Benefiting from Amazon while she was in the nursing home for 4 years, she upgraded her cleverness in birthday presents. One click in her iPad and the next present was on its way. She spent a lot of time searching for just the right present from among the thousands of choices available. Jay benefited as well. she was very worried about taking good care of him, and she would buy him the basic items so that in his assisted living apartment he would have everything that he needed after she was gone. I remember her saying that. Being in the adjacent building was not all it was cracked up to be. First the flu lockdowns and then the COVID lockdowns, and for months and months, they probably didn't see each other for a whole year. Good thing for texting and telephones. One of the good things about Carol being in the nursing home for 4 years was that we had time to talk about the past. And you both remembered everything. Her point of view from the 3-year older sister, I learned a lot about the challenges she had from every event that I had. The little brother, and I didn't have those challenges. Her mind was clear, and we talked these talks right up to the end. Jay was the healthy one, or so we thought. We were all worried about how to take care of Jay after Carol was gone. On July of 2022, he fell down and hurt himself, and at the ER, they saw problems, did x-rays, and found lots of cancer. He didn't last another month. Carol's positiveness and resilience stayed with her whole life. Even if things were bad, she was positive. She and I both inherited a little of our mother's need to entertain people. She remained outgoing, kind to her caregivers, and a number of the Arborview staff who thought she was the favorite patient were significant, because she would always give them back as much as they gave her. She loved to play Scrabble, and Libby and I would play with her. Libby is best, but Carol and I got lots of battles in for second place. Almost done here. Her resilience got through COVID twice, although the second time was really harmful. She survived 2 long roommates, one who snitched the Cheetos from the day room and stuffed them in her dresser. We called her the Cheeto Bandito. Every once in a while, her daughter would come to visit and clean out the drawers, so everybody knew. She bonded with her second long-term roommate, who was Pam, and they were known as Thing 1 and Thing 2. I think that's Carol's sense of humor again. Mm-hmm. In the end, she accepted you as you were, embraced whatever it was she was doing, and shared the love and flourished, bringing more to every group than she took, and making us all better people for knowing her. We are also here today to celebrate Jennifer. She is a hero. By 2019, when Carol's cancer metastasized, she and Jay were pretty much unable to take care of themselves physically and otherwise. Caregiver Jennifer stepped in. She got Carol into a nursing home, got her on Medicaid, straightened out their finances, was a power of attorney, wrestled Jay until he got into assisted living in the building adjacent to Carol, cleaned up and sold their house. She was Carol's healthcare advocate, managing Carol's health when Carol couldn't. She saved them so they could live out their lives. We have commented that Jennifer should have her own business to help people in similar situations, as old folks need a Jennifer. And as you can see from all the beautiful decorations today, she has other talents, that Jennifer. Who do you suppose she got them from? That's what I have to say. What Steve has to say.